This is my favorite liquid staking derivative, and judging by its name, it could reach the moon. But not all things look great on paper, and I want to share also my concerns. Let's deep dive into RocketPool. Simply explained, RocketPool is a place where you can stake your Ethereum and earn rewards, while at the same time you have a token that is liquid. It's called RETH, and you can use it in DeFi, trade it, and just keep your liquidity. This is exactly the same concept as Lido, which is the market leader in the space, but RocketPool differs quite a bit from Lido, so let's jump right into the differences and also the things that I really like. First of all, here are the node operators. Right on the homepage you can see that currently they have 2,400 operators, and the last time I checked this was at 2,200 I think, so this number keeps growing, as well as the staked Ethereum with them keeps constantly growing since their inception. I haven't really seen a slowdown even after the Ethereum update and some of the unstaking that happened back then, which is extremely good sign. We need these projects to really be pushing forward and really gain a lot of Ethereum staked in order to be very profitable for us as investors, but also to be successful as projects, and you'll see why in just a little bit. One advantage that RocketPool has is that they have really small threshold if you want to run a node. So if you're a bit tech savvy and you know how to do this, you need only 8 Ethereum in order to run a node, and usually this is 32 Ethereum, so quite a big amount. But if you don't have this but you still want to run a node, they will give you pretty much from their pool of all the random investors that they have until you get to the 32 ETH, and you can run as many nodes as possible, and this way you'll be earning Ethereum rewards but also RocketPool rewards, and also you'll actually be getting around 15 to 20% in tax for the remaining 24 Ethereum that you're getting from the pool of RocketPool. So this could be very profitable if you're a node operator, but also I really like this project because you can stake 0.01 ETH and receive the RETH token. So there's pretty much no limit for the amount of Ethereum that you can be staking with them. This, in my opinion, will bring a lot of retail investors, and although I was joking about their name, trust me, in a bull market people are looking at things like this, and if they see such kind of a name of a project, I think they could give it a little bit more weight when they're hunting for the next 10x, 100x or whatever. If you're watching this video, you are one of the people that you want to be selling into those people once this happens, but definitely I think it's an X factor for this project. One major difference compared to Lido is that their token is actually rebasing token. What this means is that pretty much if you're holding R8, the value against Ethereum will be going up because this is also pricing in the rewards from the staking. So technically speaking, you don't even need to go with RocketPool and stake your Ethereum. You can just go on DeFi and buy some R8, and basically you'll have exposure to this token and to the gains that it generates over the long term. I think this model is a little bit better compared to getting the staked rewards, but this is just my personal opinion. It's probably a little bit more difficult to understand for people, but still I think it's a relatively good model for acquiring value in RETH. And one more thing that I wanted to point out when it comes to RocketPool, their actual token RPL, is that it carries value. I'm not gonna get too deep into this graph, but basically if you're a node operator, you need to be staking first of all some RocketPool. This needs to be at least 10% from your Ethereum holding, and there's an up cap to like 150%, but also you're earning rewards in RocketPool. So pretty much in a way you're decreasing the circulating supply by doing this as a project, but also they get rewards in RocketPool on top of their Ethereum rewards. And currently, if I remember correctly, around 40 to 50% of the RocketPool is staked this way. And one more thing that I wanted to point out here is that they have a very good community in my opinion, and also the leading team is very transparent. They have regular AMAs, they talk a lot about what's happening in the project. Also, they have these very good bi-weekly updates where pretty much they give you absolutely everything you need to know as a screenshot. And as you can see here, just the latest one that was released today, you can see that the growth of this token R8 has been around 8%. And then we have the mini pool count grown to 26%. This is basically one of the updates that they did. As I mentioned, originally you need 32 Ethereum to stake and to run a node, but they are doing the updates, and actually they completed it successfully, where they moved this from 16, which was their previous number, to 8. And I think this is very, very easy for people to understand why it's bullish, at least in my opinion, and also gives me another green light that this project and this team is delivering. Everything runs smoothly during the update, and actually price action had a big pop on it, which we're going to look in just a little bit later. But before that, let's jump into the major concerns that I have. And if we go back to the token, and this graph looks very good, you know, everyone's get rewarded. If I find it where it is, yes, here we go. So this one means that RocketPool will have some inflation, and the inflation right now is fixed at around 5%, but there's no cap on the token supply. So pretty much this means that the DAO can decide to print rocket pools infinitely, and also they could decide if it's needed for the token to be even more inflated, so the inflation number could change to the higher side. While this is not such a big concern, for me at least, the other part from this equation is actually the market share of RocketPool. Here you can see the list of the major players in the liquid staking space. Lido is number one with around 32% from the total market share. Second is Coinbase with around 13%, and then RocketPool, let me just find it here, on 8th place, and the market share here is around 2.4%. So very low market share, and as you can see, there are plenty of competitors in the space. Yes, some of them are exchanges, but that's not all of them, and I think this is a very competitive space, and it will continue to be. Actually, the share was much higher for RocketPool. I think it was around 5% just several weeks ago, and now it's at 2.4. So in order for them to be successful, they need to be gaining more traction and obviously more market share. But to be honest, even if they don't, if the whole space just evolves and we get more and more Ethereum staked, they could still gain a lot of Ethereum in their ecosystem, but not gain so much market share, just because I believe the potential here is huge. There's around 18 million Ethereum deposited compared to the 120 that are out there in circulation. However, if growth stalls for RocketPool, this means that the inflation needs to be adjusted, because this means that we get diluted. The value of the entire project won't move at some point. Imagine this, we stop growing, and at the same point there will be more and more RocketPool circulation. So I think this is a major concern, and we don't know how this will go, but I definitely wanted to point it out. And linked to that is another concern of mine. Because of the smaller size, the R8 token is not so popular when it comes to DeFi. So it will be much harder, especially if you're a bigger whale, to find liquidity and to be able to trade this on DeFi. So just keep this in mind. And one final thing that I wanted to point out is that their tax, if you decide to stake, so even just 0.01 Ethereum, the tax on your returns will be around 20%. If you're staking with them, that's quite a heavy tax. For example, Lido has 10% tax, so this is quite steep. I'm not sure this will be sustainable in the long term, and to be honest, this might be one of the reasons for RocketPool to start losing market share compared to the others. But with all of this said, I think the project has quite a lot of potential, and let's jump into the price action and tell you what I'm seeing on the chart. So first of all, this token doesn't have much price history. It's a brand new thing. It launched in January this year. So this is good. We don't have a bunch of backholders, and also there are plenty of exchange diversification. Coinbase has listed it, Binance, pretty much all the majors out there have listed it, and even Coinbase are actually investing in this token. So keep this in mind. And as you can see, we can start seeing some initial accumulation range forming, and this pump right here is exactly the pump from the update that I mentioned, that they went to 8 Ethereum needed to run a node, and as you can see, it pumped quite hard, and now obviously it's correcting. It was kind of sell of the news event. It ran up 60%, and this was exactly the day when the project launched their latest update. The current valuation at around 45 bucks per RocketPool brings RocketPool to second most valued token in the liquid staking derivatives, and it's about half the size of Lido. To be honest, I think this is a little bit expensive just because of the market share, and we discussed it already. It's just negligible compared to Lido, yet it has almost half the valuation. So I'm not sure how the market will accept this, and even if people will look at this at all, but it's definitely one thing that I'm concerned when it comes to price. But if we go into this level around 33 bucks, which from here I think it's quite reasonable, especially with the market conditions currently, this is around 25% down. To be honest, I might jump into this. I still haven't researched all the liquid staking derivatives out there, but when it comes to risk to reward, I think this one is my favorite one. Lido is quite big, so I'm not sure I want to put money in there. It will definitely blow up the space as a market leader if we get the narrative of liquid staking playing out in the long term. But RocketPool is also quite a solid project, and I like it quite a lot. So yeah, definitely I'm not gonna be in a rush to jump in here in the middle of this range, but if we see something like this around 35 bucks, I will be a buyer. But also if we see signs of strength and we never get to that level, I'm more than willing to buy a breakout here and just hold this and see how it will work out, unless of course in my future research I don't find a token that presents a better risk to reward. And if I do, as always, I'll keep you updated, guys, so make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.